Right, welcome to another podcast. I'm up at Damsflask course fishery. It's late June and I'm up here with a fly rod to target some pike and perch, mainly perch really. That's what I'm interested in today, but there are quite a few pike in here as well, so there's a chance of a bonus pike. This is actually the third time I've tried to get up here to do the podcast, and every time I've been up, and today included, conditions are against me. It's windy, there's low water, there's not really any weed I've found yet, so I'm looking for a weedy area really to strip my little perch fry imitation back through. But the water's so low, the weed seems to have disappeared. So I'm just walking up the bank looking for some features really to fish round. Perch tend to like to lie fairly near the bottom or in weeds, and they ambush their prey really, so it's a bit featureless here at the minute, and I think I need to find some features really to fish around, so I'm going to spend quite a bit of time stalking around the bank looking for some features to fish to, ideally a bed of weed. Sorry there was no podcast last month. The plan was to do a podcast from up in Scotland on the River Tay when I was up fishing, but I was up salmon fishing, and to be honest, there's not a lot to talk about when you're salmon fishing. It's 95% despair and 5% elation. So apart from telling people where I am and that I'm casting a fly rod, there's not much else to say, so it would have been rather boring. Very busy work schedule last month as well, so no podcast, but I'm heading up to the neck end of the reservoir here, just studying the water, looking for some suitable features, and hopefully when it gets a bit siltier down near the neck end where the river comes in, we'll have some weed to fish around. It's a big triangular reservoir this, with a dam wall at the big end, if that makes sense, and it's surrounded by woods on all sides, and there's a sailing club over the far bank. You can see all the sailboats there just with their sails and rigging rattling in the wind, and the banks are normally quite lush, but with the water so low it's sand and gravel, but it's looking a little bit more promising now. There's a few rocks and the water's not as wavy. The setup I've got today it's my little travel saltwater outfit actually. It's an 8-weight 7-piece rod, and I've got about 6 foot of sinking poly leader on with 2 or 3 feet of fluorocarbon, and then I have actually put a wire trace on the end as well. Even though the perch you find to catch them obviously on just standard fluoro, but there is that chance of a bonus pike, and I want to make sure if we do connect with a pike that I've got the wire on there to be able to get it in safely. Net on my back, so I'm fully mobile, and I've got the old unhooking mat on the back of the vest as well, so if we do get into a pike I'm fully tooled up with my long nose pliers as well to be able to handle it. Just getting into the neck end, the water's looking a bit coloured, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Weather today's it's fairly muggy. It's probably 16-17 degrees, but it's very overcast. We had rain showers all day as well. I wish I'd not put a jumper on now. Draw that walk in. Right, here we are. We do have a bit of weed right at the neck end. So let's get right up to where the river comes in and fish around this. So the fly I've got on is one of our perch specials, which is a white and red, imitates a small bait fish obviously. And I'll just work a little line out and then we'll get some cast out. I'll start quite close in, let it sink a touch and put a few strips in. casting towards an overhanging tree and there's a little bit of weed underneath it. Just letting the sinking poly leader get down a touch. A fairly slow retrieve back actually, nothing too strenuous. This is a slow sinking poly leader, so it needs a bit of time to get down, and as it's sinking you can just put the odd twitch in as well. The sky is starting to bruise again. I reckon we're in for another shower. Check the fly for weed. Looks good. Right, we'll cast a bit further this time if we can. Lovely. Cast quite nicely on an 8-weight, even with the wire trace on. This is it's a tropical fly line designed to cast big flies, so it's got a nice big head, short head near the business end, and it's a kind of taper that allows you to cast those big flies or punch through wind. It will even let me put a roll cast out, which is great. Quite a lot of this reservoir has high trees, so being able to put that roll cast out is quite useful for... Oh, on the bottom there, I thought that was a tug. Right, try and put a longer cast out again. Right it goes. Right, we'll move. So I've got a lot of water to cover today, so I'm going to keep moving every few casts really. I'll try this neck end and then we might even get in the car and go and try some other bits of the reservoir. So it's not too deep here. I'm even with this slow sinking leader touching the bottom. I'm determined to pull something out of this reservoir though, because I've in previous years had great success here fishing for perch and pike, and ever since I've been trying to record this podcast it's been against me. And it looks like right over the other side there's some lots of weed and features, but I can't really get around there. Oh, we're in. We are actually in. Got one. Fantastic. It's a little perch, I think. Yes, beautiful. Just what we wanted. Taking that perch special beautifully. Oh, that's fantastic. Over the moon with that. And that took fairly close in as well. Took it fair and square. We'll unhook this fella and pop him back. So, that is a great sign. Just what we wanted. And we're only within, 10 minutes of fishing, something like that. Right, where's your dad? This tends to be my still water fishing during the summer months. My river trout fishing, and then if I'm on still waters really it's perch and pike and... Ooh, another take then. And we're in again. This feels a better fish. I had to strip strike that one. Oh it is, it's slightly bigger, another stripey. There's obviously a lot of fish down there. Pop him straight back. There we go. What was I saying? So yeah, this tends to be my summer fishing. I don't know, I'm not too interested in stock reservoirs. Haven't been for years really. I much prefer to catch these small wild perch and pike and things like that. And you don't, these wild fish, you don't know what you're going to catch. Each to their own, don't get me wrong, and I do still go out and get a bending rod on some of the stock reservoirs, but My own personal preference is to fish for these wild fish, and quite happy catching tiddly perch. You know, these perch would be a menace to a lot of trout anglers on reservoirs, but if you're targeting them, and then you've got the chance of the, you know, 1, 2 or even 3 pound perch or a jack pike, it's great fun. It's what fishing's all about. Hammering again. I must be going over a shoal here. That's 3 casts and 3 fish, so I'm not going to complain. That one's come off at the bank, so quick release. And they're only about, I don't know, 10 foot out. Well, at least the reservoir's not defeated me again. I've found that this fishing comes into its own in June, really. Before then, when the water's cold and the fish tend to be in deeper water, I know other people manage it and have great success, but I've always struggled, especially fly fishing for pike during winter and early spring. I've always struggled. Whereas when this water's warmed up and the fish are in the shallows and they're around the weed beds and they're feeding, they seem very obliging. Fantastic, great fun. This 8-weight really does cast well. You may have noticed I rarely ever mention brands of tackle, and I'm very reluctant to endorse certain brands over others because I'm not a tackle tart at all, and for me a rod's a tool that does a job. But I will say, I was looking for a 7-piece or 8-piece 8-weight rod for taking abroad for some salt water, just to put in the suitcase, and there's various different rods from different manufacturers. You know, you can pay 200 plus, and this is actually, and I will name the brand, it's a Shakespeare, and it's a 7-piece number 8, and I think it was 42 quid. I mean, it casts, I can punch out 90 feet of line on it. I can throw big flies. It's nice and light. I don't know what more you can really want from a little travel rod, to be fair. These fish seem quite close in. Well, that I've kept casting in that same place and had 3 fish in 3 casts, and then the no more takes. So probably got wise to it. So I'm going to keep moving down the bank. There's a little stream coming in here, so there may be a gully of slightly deeper water. Get the fly moving over the gully. That's obviously a nice ambush place for a bigger fish. So this is a day ticket fishery. Anyone can come and fish here. Very, very good value. It's a self-service machine. You put your coins in and get a little ticket out of the machine, and it's, I think it was £17.80 it's cost me for a 2-month ticket. So it's 2 months of fun over the summer for £17.80. You can't really complain with that price. And it does hold some very decent pike in here as well. So you're not just going to be catching tiddlers the whole time. You can come and have an hour in the evening or a couple of hours in the evening, and you've got a potential of a double figure pike on the fly. Another little tap then. I think it was another small perch. I think we're slightly deeper now, so I'm just going to let that sinking leader get down a touch more. It's only, probably 100 metres across where I am. It's at the thin end of the reservoir, and it's fairly silty bottom, and normally it would be full of weed. But I guess, this is where a lot of the pike and perch tend to hang out over the summer months. I guess they're still here. They've just not got that weed to hide amongst. As I get into this deeper water, I might actually change the leader over to a faster sinking leader. I could even manage a spay cast with this rod, just to help me get out with these trees behind me. A bit of a single spay. Some runners on the path going past me. It's really popular here with runners. one of the beauties of the water being so low is to fly fish here is you're just away from the path, so you've got to keep looking behind you every cast just to check there's no dog walkers on the bank. You're not too far the path, so there's not really any danger of your fly going up over the path. You do not want to hook a runner, that wouldn't go down well. Right, it's deepening up here, so I think it's time to change to a faster sinking leader. I'm going to put the super fast sink on, really get this fly down to the bottom zone. I imagine there'll be fish tucked in behind a few rocks down there, waiting to ambush. So let's quickly change over the leader. Right, so we're all changed over to a little super fast sink poly leader tip, just because this really started to deepen up. I want to get down to the bottom of these gullies where hopefully these perch and little pike will be waiting to ambush my little fly. Oh, we're in. This feels oh, it's off. That felt a better fish. I think that was a hit from a little pike. I'll try it in the same spot again, because sometimes these pike will hang around and they'll have a snap at your fly several times before you manage to hook them. Swallows are skimming over the surface of the water and picking off flies. It's actually a really good spot this for if you want to target roach on the fly. If you come in the summer evenings, you'll see them rising absolutely everywhere. And on light gear, it's tremendous fun. You can intercept the shoals as they cruise around, and you can have really good fun with them. Oh, another touch. Missed it. I suspect that was a little perch just nipping at the tail of the fly again. You can feel a little tap, tap, tap as you're stripping back, and it'll just be a tiddler nipping at the tail. You always hope to see a crash of a pike hitting something near the surface, or some little fish leaping out the way being chased, but there's nothing happening near the top, so I'm presuming everything's down deeper. I've picked up some weed. That's a good sign. That means that there's some weed down there and my fly's got down towards it, so that's encouraging. That's just the kind of place you'd expect to see those fish waiting to ambush. Well, I've given it a good shot down this section here, not had a pull. So, yeah, that's me done. I've had a lovely day. It's lovely to get some perch on the fly, ready for a pint at the local. So thank you very much for listening. Remember, the website for coaching is www.peaksflyfishing.com. Please comment, like, share, subscribe, etc. And the shop for the flies, including the perch special I've been using today, is shop.peaksflyfishing.com. Until next time, bye bye.